So, good morning. As my friend Lindy would say, good morning. I am excited because this is camping day. We have to pack up our stuff into the vehicle and leave the house and go down to our campsite, but it's finally here. Yay, we get to kick off the season. I am just going to post a video this morning regarding splitting wool and ranunculus, the garment that I was working on. Somebody asked to see that. And following that, I will upload a video of a trail walk that Stanley and I took, sharing some points about how to overcome worry or how to avoid it. And then I will be back with my camping video. So we're going to have a fun day today. And I hope you have a fun day today. Cheers. My ranunculus, split wool ranunculus. So what I mean by that is I took a yarn that had 4 plies and I have knit my ranunculus sweater with a 4-ply cotton in blue, which you have seen in a previous video. Maybe you've watched it. And what I decided to do is lighten up the wool, make it less thick. So I split the wool 2 strands and 2 strands. So this top is knit with 2 strands of a 4-ply yarn, and it's cotton, which I purchased from Hobby Lobby for about $3-4 a ball. And it took, well, splitting the wool, I only needed 2 balls to create the sweater. So then it ends up being a very inexpensive sweater. Now, when I finished it, I didn't like it. Here's what I don't like. The colors don't suit me. I liked looking at the colors and seeing the beauty of the colors, but they don't look good on me. The blue looks better. Plus, the pattern actually shows up better with a more solid color rather than a self-striping yarn, which is what the other was. So in retrospect, splitting yarn is a good thing. It comes up light and nice and easy to work with, but it's better to use a solid color. So I hate to tell you this, but I may end up just pulling all this apart and using the yarn for something else. Now I'm going to illustrate how I split the yarn. Now obviously you have to start with a ball of yarn that has 4 plies. That means there's 4 strands wound together. And then I use a hair clip. You'll see how I use that in a moment. I use that to sort of stop the wool. Now you split the 4 strands into 2, obviously. And there you go, 2 strands on each side. And you just start pulling. Now it's going to spin and twist, and sometimes it gets sort of knotted up in there and wants to be encouraged along. But once you get it started, then what I do is I let the ball of wool spin. So I put that hair clip on the end of the wool, on the ball, and that stops the yarn from going through. And then I just pull each side, and I create a pile on each side, right and left of me. And then after I have split the wool, split the whole ball of wool, I then start winding up each end. But initially, the first step is just to split everything. See how it spins? Now I know this is a very tedious task. Takes a lot of time. Sometimes I'm watching a ball game on TV or something like that while I split the wool. So it's kind of a mindless activity. Sometimes your arms get a little tired, so you might come back to it the next day, work on it again. Now in this case, my wool got knotted up a wee bit, and I actually picked up a hair off the carpet, but then I got to go on again. And that's it. You don't actually have to watch it. Like I said, it's sort of a mindless activity. You just pull the yarn, make sure each side stays away from the other. 2 strands on one side, 2 strands on the other. Remove the hair clip, reclip it, lift it up, and start spinning it off again. And that's how you split your wool. I was thinking about that phrase, splitting hairs. I don't know where that came from, but I can remember my mother using it when I was a kid, talking about something, and she'd say, "You don't want to be splitting hairs." It just sounded like a strange thing to do. Never heard of anybody actually really splitting their hair. But right now, we're splitting wool. So then what you notice is that the side that you're splitting off, the two strands, is rather, how do I say, it's wrinkly. You don't have to spin it till it's actually smooth, because if you do that, then you've got two strands side by side. You do want a bit of a spin in the yarn. So you just kind of pull it gently as you wind it up. And when you're knitting with it, it doesn't affect the tension. It still comes out nice and smooth. Most wool is wound anyways to start with, and hence that's why you're splitting the yarn, splitting two strands and creating a thinner ball of wool. Now this was probably creating, the two strand would be equal to fingering weight or DK. You can correct me if I'm wrong on that one, but anyway, it just creates a nice light wool, and sometimes that's what I want. I want something lighter to work with, especially if you're working on a summer project. So here I am back again, illustrating my favorite stitch, which is simply you purl one, slip one, purl one, slip one. And it is the stitch that I used on the edge, the sleeve of the ranunculus, and it just creates kind of a neat effect. And on one of my garments, I might show that in a future video, I actually finished off the edge of my top with 5 rows of this slip one, purl one, slip one, purl one, and it creates a nice sort of edging as opposed to doing a knit and purl ribbing on the bottom of your garment. So I'll illustrate that in a top, which I washed and threw in the dryer and shrank. Yep, they told me not to do it, and I did it anyway. So I'll share that in future videos. So in the meantime, I'm heading off to camping. You have fun, you knit. I am taking knitting with me in my camping, just a very simple project, knit and purl. I'm working on finishing some sleeves of a sweater for the winter. But you have fun, and I'll see you later.